How do you maintain the character of a building during a renovation? Well, this is simple, right? It doesn't take a brain surgeon just to work this one out. Protect it, okay? Is it flaws? And we've all seen the really retro flaws that are now coming back into it. Protect them. You can put a layer of maybe a bit of PVA over it first, which will just put like a little clear coating over it. Or there is actually a product out there which you can put on as a base layer. Put some plastic sheeting over it. Put an old carpet over it, and then put a dust sheet on it. That will really protect that floor. Protection is the key. If you've got some coving, for example, and you need to do, let's say you've got to drop a ceiling, again, always check with your designs on this one, because if you're going to do a flat conversion, or if you're wanting to update the acoustics in a property, so therefore you're dropping ceilings just to add that little bit of sound there, you might need to be careful on that type, because that could have a big impact on the design with vibration, things like that. But again, you can protect it by pulling in the drop ceiling so you don't damage the coving, then drop it and put like a drop ceiling cofter in there. So there's many different ways, but protection is the biggest way to protect the features of a building beforehand. When you're on restoration projects, okay, it's now come back down to time. You can't rush these things. So one of the biggest ways to protect is by hiring a professional. Someone who's done this before. The jack of all trades can pretty much put their hand to anything, but get them to slow down. Make sure you've tested them before. Have they done that kind of work before? Things like that. These are all pre-checked before you go running into a renovation project when it comes to protecting those key building, the characteristics of a build. The most obvious one for me is make sure when you're hiring the interior designer or the architect at the start, you make the brief very clear at the start before you do any design work, and make the focus key on how do I protect the existing characteristics of that build. If you're not clear with your architects or your designers or even your build team, that could lead to, again, big significant issues, and they could just wipe things out, or you might get an accident and it could damage it, or they just blast through it doing the build and all of a sudden it's gone. So yeah, talk clear communication at the start, have a very clear brief, and then protect before you undertake those works.